Emma.
And I'm Nat.
And we're Chucky Chums. This video is not what you think. We're not talking about our first time, which is what I know what y'all are thinking about.
Even though you've probably seen this tag, everyone still secretly hopes that we're tricking you.
But we're not. So we have a whole bunch of questions about our firsts of things. And we're just gonna answer them. First tweet. And it is trying to figure out Twitter. I spelled figure wrong. I spelled it F-I-G-G-E-R. Tigger. T-I-G-G-R.
Mine was to someone, because I originally made my Twitter as a fact Twitter about a band, and another person who had a similar account thought I was trying to compete with them, so I tweeted them saying, I made this so we can retweet each other's, not to compete. Friends?
Did you ever become friends with that person?
No, they hated me.
First YouTube video. Our YouTube video, like the very first one, is still public. It's the best friend tag. We did that because we were like, it's a way of introducing ourselves to our viewers without being like, hi guys, so welcome to our channel.
We are this, this, and this.
Yeah, it's actually like, I know this about you and I know that about you and now you guys know that about us.
Yeah.
That was our first video. The first person you subscribed to on YouTube. I have a feeling it's Zoe.
Probably.
Because we used to, like, I've watched Zoe since 2012, 2013, something like that. But we didn't actually have, like, a YouTube account. We made our account, like, a year and a half ago and kind of just subscribed to who we were watching and then kind of built up to find the community that we're a part of now.
And I am not 100% sure who the first person I subscribed to, like, for myself on the channel was, but I know that the first person I really watched, like, a lot was, like, Dan Is Not On Fire and Amazing Phil, and I know that I got really obsessed with Punk Chayas, like, years ago.
And we always watched YouTubers before we even had an account, and then
So-
when we made an account we kind of just went and
It was one of them.
subscribed to everyone. First Facebook profile photo. We've actually done a video called looking at old or reacting to old
Facebook photos.
and my first photo was in there, I know that.
Mine
It
was
is-
too.
Do you still talk to your first love?
No.
No. What was your first alcoholic drink?
I know exactly what mine was, because when I was about 15, 16, probably more like 16, I live with my brother and my parents. My brother's a lot older than me. He would drink, like, beers with dinner sometimes, and my parents would let me put, like, some of his beer into my lemonade, so I would have shandies with dinner occasionally.
My
Well,
first one was actually when I was like really little, like 4, 5, 6. But like before you start going crazy, I don't even think it was alcoholic. I don't know, but it was in like a cast thing. And my brother and I had little mini wine glasses, and when we were at my grandparents' place, we would go to the fridge and we'd fill up our little mini wine glasses with the wine cast and like drink some. I'm not too sure if it was alcoholic or not. I can't remember. I don't think it was.
Thinking about it, you're like, why would they do that?
Yeah, I remember they'd always let us have one, and my brother and I would always get caught going to the fridge and getting more, so I feel like
Maybe it was.
but I kind of don't really like wine now, so I don't really know. But if that wasn't alcoholic, my first actual alcoholic drink was on my 16th birthday. My dad let my friend and I, with her dad's permission, a cruiser each. What was your first job?
My first job that wasn't for my dad's company was at Wet n Wild, the theme park. Did not like it. I lasted less than a month.
My first job was a crew member at McDonald's. I lasted there for 4 years and I became a manager, and then I left to do the job that I'm doing now. But this is like my third job that I'm in because I changed restaurants. What was your first car?
I don't really own my own car, but the car that I drive at the moment is a Toyota Yaris in the hatchback.
My first car was actually a Suzuki Swift. If you watched our best friend versus housemate video, you would know that it was called Zeus, and it wasn't really the nicest car ever. It wasn't like a new one or anything. It was like almost 20 years old, and it wasn't the greatest car ever, but it got me from A to B. It was a car. Who was the first person to text you today? My sister-in-law.
My boyfriend.
She messaged me, are you awake? Or no, it was I'm awake. Because I wanted to go over her place to pick some things up, and she was like, I'll message you when I'm awake so you don't wake up Annabelle, which is my niece. So. Who is the first person you thought of this morning? Actually, I thought of Nat, just because we were like having a sleepover, so she was next to me, and I kind of went, oh, I wonder if she's awake yet. But normally the first person I think of in the morning is none of your business.
The first person I thought of this morning was, it's really strange, but basically I had a dream that involved Laurie Daly, who is, if you're not Australian, you probably won't know. Even
I don't know.
Probably a lot of you, even if you are Australian, wouldn't know, depending on how into sports you are. But he's the coach of the New South Wales State of Origin team, and he was in an event that I ran a few months ago. So
she's gonna hit me in the face.
And I don't know why, but for some reason he was in my dream last night. Not in that way. I dreamt that someone I knew was getting married and he was there for some reason. So I woke up like, what the hell? What even was that? So for that reason it was him, and then it was closely followed by Emma because she was next to me.
Yeah, see, my first person was Nat because she was next to me, and then I remembered who I was dreaming about, and I kind of thought about them for a while.
And that's none of your business.
Who was your first grade teacher?
Mine was called Miss Simon.
Mine was called Miss First. Where did you go on your first plane ride?
I went to Germany and I was 5 years old.
Mine was Melbourne. The weekend after I turned 18, remember?
I was with you.
Yeah, I was freaking out because I thought
and I was
planes
like, it's okay.
Yeah, I was freaking out because I thought planes were really bad. And then how many planes did we take that year?
Lots.
We went on a massive spree because we were like, I like planes, let's go. Who was your first best friend and do you still talk?
Mine was probably either my cousins or Solange, who I spoke about briefly. She was mentioned in my, which video? Best friend versus boyfriend. I think it was her, my first long-term best friend, and there was also another girl called Amanda who was my best friend. But Solange's sister actually cuts my hair, and Solange...
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Celeste's sister, yeah.
Oh! I know Celeste.
Yeah.
She does my hair too.
She does my hair, and yeah, she always does my hair. And she actually works at a store that I like to go to all the time. And she's not always there, but if she's there, then I'll be like, hey. So I don't really keep in contact with her, but I do see her occasionally, so it's nice.
My first best friend I met when I was 1 year old. My dad's best mate and his partner had a child who was a little bit younger than me. We met at her first birthday party, and my dad and him are still best mates, so I still know this girl, but like, we're not best friends. We just know each other. Where was your first sleepover?
My first sleepover lasted for 6 weeks, and it was when I went to Germany. Because I slept over at my cousin's house for that long. Does that count?
Yeah, sure.
Because we didn't stay in a hotel. I stayed with my cousins, and it was like a massive sleepover. And then when they moved to Australia, we'd have sleepovers like all the time, like most weekends. So I know the northern beaches like really well, even though I've never lived in the northern beaches, because I'd always spend time with my cousins who live up there. Fact.
I feel like my first sleepover would have been like either at my dad's sister's house, so my auntie, or my dad's parents' house, so my grandparents. My first sleepover with a friend would have been with Kayla, who was the girl I met when I was 1 year old. What was the first thing you did this morning?
I answered a phone call. I woke up to, like, after I had the whoa with the what the hell was that dream, I realised my phone was ringing and I answered it.
I checked my phone because she was still asleep. And then when she answered her phone, I thought she was talking to me. I was like, hey, are you awake? And she started talking and I was like, oh. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Mine was like the Wiggles, but if we're not counting like the Wiggles when I was little, it would have been Short Stack.
I never went to like anything like the Wiggles or High Five or anything like that when I was a kid. Thanks, Mum. My first concert would have been when I was like 13, 14. I went to Pink with my mum. First broken bone.
I've never full on broken anything, but the first thing I like needed crutches for, and I kind of cracked and bruised the inside of my kneecap. I couldn't walk on or anything, and I had a cast. And that I did that walking up a set of stairs at the grandstand when I was trying to avoid exercise at the school athletics carnival. I was trying to go to the top row so I could not get called down for a race, and I fell over and couldn't walk for like 2 months, so good job me.
I broke my arm when I was about 4 or 5. It was a complete accident. My dad was mucking around with me and he snapped my arm.
What?
Yeah.
How?
We were wrestling and he grabbed it and he pulled it too hard and it went. I was like 4 or 5. I love my dad, obviously. We were mucking around and there goes my arm. 4 or 5. Had a cast. First piercing.
Mine was my ears.
Same.
And the first time I got them done, I was about 4 or 5, and one of the guns didn't go off. So I only got one ear, so they let it close up, and then did it again when I was like 8.
So it would have gone off, but wrong.
It just didn't pierce. The second one, just nothing happened.
Well, why didn't they just pierce it again?
Because they didn't want to. I was crying and hysterical because it hurt. The first one hurt, and they didn't want to make me have to go through the second one because I was all like, ow! So they just let it close up because they didn't want me to have one pierced ear.
I had my ears pierced when I was about 3 months old. Mum reckons I didn't cry.
I was like a massive wuss as a child. I'm still a massive wuss, but like I would cry and cry at the doctors over an injection and then like stop immediately when they put a band-aid on it. So
First foreign country you've gone to?
I feel like I've said this way too many times in this video, but Germany.
I don't have an Australian passport. Don't have a passport. Never left the country. So annoyed. But I'm just gonna say Fiji because that's where I'm going in a few months.
Yes! Finally!
First movie you remember seeing?
I'm not 100% sure what the first movie I ever saw was, but I know the first movie I saw in a cinema was The Little Mermaid. And that actually came out before I was born in 1989, but I was about 4 when I saw this in the movies, and I know that I was 4 when the 10-year anniversary happened, so I'm assuming that they brought it back into the cinema or something for that. And that's what I saw, because I definitely saw it and I was definitely about 4, so there you go.
My first movie that I remember seeing, my mum actually kind of just told me. We never went to like the cinemas when my brother and I were kids. We always went to the drive-ins. Well, she doesn't really remember what we saw at the drive-ins. So I don't actually know, but the first one I remember seeing at the actual cinema theatre was the Tigger movie. I was about 5, I would have been 5. What was your first word? Mine was mum, like actual mum, not like ma or anything. Both mine and my brother's was mum.
Mine, according to my mum, was like mum. Say like mum, but I think I said ma first. Like mum.
You know when kids go mum.
Mama.
And they think we're saying mum, so they're like, oh my god, I just said mum. But really we're just going
Really, we're like, there's still peanut butter in my teeth.
Yeah. Who was your first roommate?
I've never had a roommate.
You gotta have boyfriends.
Yeah, my first roommate was my boyfriend.
They kind of end up being a roommate, kind of.
Because they just
never
go home. I have that effect on people.
My first roommate is Aiden.
The first person to ask me to move in with them was Darcy, but neither of us have been in a position to be able to do anything about it.
What was the first sport you were involved in?
Mine was gymnastics, and I did it for a long time, and I think I was pretty good at it. I got trophies and stuff.
It was either karate, which I got up to orange belt, so 3rd level, dancing, and I did little A's, and I don't think there was like levels for that or whatever. You were just in your age group, and I got a few ribbons and stuff, and now I'm really unfit. I don't think I could ever win medals.
Yeah, I have no skill from when I did gymnastics.
What is the first thing you do when you get home?
Hang up my keys before I lose them, because I will lose them.
Yeah, same. When was your first kiss?
I was 17 on a train.
I was 7. 6 or 7. His parents were family friends of my grandparents, and they always came to their parties, and he was my boyfriend. When we were at some sort of function the day we met, we kind of went and danced and then went and sat out in the corridor and had a little smitchy.
And that's it for my first time tag. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up so we know to do more tag videos, and leave us a comment with any of your firsts. Subscribe to see new videos twice a week, and we'll see you next time. Bye!